Hello, Lili here. Today we are starting with Class 3, Chapter 1 of your Log On to Computers textbook. The name of the first chapter is Working of a Computer System. We have read that a computer is made up of many parts like a monitor, keyboard, mouse, and CPU box. Each part has a special role in the working of a computer. Let us learn how a computer works. A computer is an electronic machine which works on the IPO cycle. Here, I stands for input, P stands for process, and O stands for output. However, before learning about the IPO cycle, we must revise the terms input, process, and output. Input, process, output cycle. Let us understand the meaning of the terms input, process, and output with the help of an example. Making ice from water in a refrigerator. To make ice, we need water. Here, water is the input. When water is kept in an ice tray in the freezer inside a refrigerator, it gets frozen at a low temperature. This is the process. After some time, it changes to ice cubes. The ice cubes are the output. So as you can see, the input is water, the process is cooling, and the output is ice. One more example is heating water using a geyser. In the above example, the cold water is the input, the heating of water inside a geyser is the process, the hot water that we get is the output. So the input is the cold water, process is heating, and output is hot water. Test yourself. You should just look at the pictures and write I for input, P for process, and O for output. Number 1. Making of juice. Input, process, and output. And washing of clothes. This is the input, the process, and the output. How does a computer work? As mentioned earlier, a computer works on the input, process, output cycle. This means that a computer needs an input device to accept input, a processing device to process the input, and an output device to display the output. Let us read about this in detail. Input. Input is given in the form of letters, symbols, and click. It is given to the computer through a keyboard or a mouse. Process. Processing takes place in the CPU at the brain of the computer. CPU work includes processing input, controlling flow of data, producing output, and sending it to the correct device for display. Output. Output can be in the form of words, numbers, pictures, or sounds. It is obtained from the computer through a monitor, printer, or speakers. Let us take an example. Typing 2 plus 3 on the keyboard. Input. The process is addition of the two numbers inside the CPU box. And the output, the display of the result of addition, that is 5 on the monitor. Here, test yourself. Write I for the parts of a computer that help in giving input, P for the parts that help in the process, and O for the parts that help in getting output. As you can see, mouse is input, CPU is process, printer is output, speaker is output, monitor output, and keyboard is input. Computer hardware. Computer hardware refers to the physical parts of a computer that can be touched. It includes input devices, CPU box and the parts inside it, and output devices as well. Hardware. Now, input devices. Input devices are the devices that we use to enter data and instructions into a computer. There are many input devices. However, the keyboard and mouse are ones which are the most commonly used. The other input devices are light pen, scanner, joystick, and microphone. Keyboard. Keyboard is the most common input device. It has many buttons on it which are called keys. These keys are divided into various types like alphabet keys, number keys, special keys, and symbol keys. We enter data through these keys. There are many types of keyboards available in the market today. The most common is the QWERTY keyboard. It is called so because the first 6 letters on its home row are Q, W, E, R, T, and Y. Other types of keyboards include the Dvorak keyboard, APC keyboard, and so on. Fact Byte. The keys of the QWERTY keyboard have the same layout as that of a typewriter. Mouse. Mouse is a pointing device that controls the movement of the cursor on the computer screen. Its name is derived from its shape, which looks a bit like a mouse. As we move the mouse, the pointer on the monitor screen moves in the same direction. Douglas Engelbart invented the first computer mouse in the year 1964, and this was made up of wood. Write the name of any 2 companies that manufacture keyboard and mouse. Apple and Samsung. Light pen. This device is used for entering data by writing on a computer screen. Engineers, designers, and architects use light pens to draw and modify shapes on the screen. In today's digital era, where Android phones are much in use, some phones are accompanied by stylus pen, which is highly user-friendly. Scanner. Scanner is used to input images, text, drawing, etc. into a computer. Different kinds of scanners are flatbed scanner, handheld scanner, etc. This is the shape of the scanner. Joystick. A joystick, once attached to a computer, helps in playing different games. It controls the different movements in a computer game. Microphone. A microphone is used to record different sounds into a computer. It is an audio input device. The sound is then saved as a sound file on the computer, and this is the shape of the microphone. Processing device. Once the input is given to a computer, it is processed upon by the computer to change it into the desired form. For example, if we want to multiply 2 numbers, say 25 and 56, then we input these 2 numbers with the multiplication instructions. Then the computer multiplies these 2 numbers. The work done by the computer on the input is called processing. In this example, multiplication is the processing. The processing in a computer is done by the CPU or the central processing unit. The CPU is referred to as the brain of the computer. The CPU is placed in a plastic or metal case. This is called the CPU box or the system unit. The CPU is the most important part of a computer. It has three main components. The components are control unit, arithmetic logic unit, and memory unit. So let us learn now about control unit or CU. The control unit, as its name suggests, controls the working of all the parts of a computer. It tells the computer which instructions has to be followed first and which one later. It controls flow of data between various devices attached to it. Arithmetic logic unit or ALU. The ALU performs arithmetic operations such as addition, subtractions, multiplication, and division. It also performs operations such as comparison, that is greater than, less than, equal to, and so on. Memory unit or MU. All the data and information that need to be processed, like the numbers 25 and 56 and the instructions of multiplication in the example given previously, has to be stored somewhere before processing. This is stored in the MU. Smallest storage unit used in computers is bit, and collection of 8 bits is called byte. These data and instructions are then passed on to CU or ALU as per requirement. MU and CPU are on separate chips. Now, output devices. Once the input has been given to a computer and it has been processed by the computer, the result or the output has to be seen. The devices which we use for getting the output are called output devices. In the example of multiplication of 25 and 56, the output 1400 is displayed on the monitor. The commonly used output devices are the monitor to view the output and printer to print the output. Speakers are the output devices that are used to listen to music. Now let's learn about monitor. A monitor looks like a TV screen. It displays text, pictures, and videos. Wherever you type on the keyboard is displayed on the monitor. The information displayed on the screen is temporary and it is called a soft copy. Different types of monitors are CRT, cathode ray tube monitor, LCD, liquid crystal display monitor, LED, light emitting diodes monitor, TFT, thin film transistor monitor. Fact bite. LCD, LED, and TFT monitors look almost the same, but they work on different technologies. All have a similar screen, though unlike a CRT monitor. As you can see in this picture also, the CRT monitor is looking different, and these three are looking same alike. Printer. A printer is used to take printouts of text or graphics on the paper. The information printed on the paper is permanent and it's called the hard copy. There are three main types of printers available. The first printer that we are going to talk about is dot matrix printer. Dot matrix printers are old types of printers. These printers are not expensive but are slow. They have a ribbon and a print head. When a letter has to be printed, the stamp of that letter hits the ink ribbon between the paper and itself. This forms the letters on the paper. That is why these printers are also called impact printers. The next printer is inkjet printer. Inkjet printers print characters by throwing a jet of ink on the paper. These printers are not expensive, but their printing cost is high. Inkjet printers are the faster than dot matrix printers and their print quality is also better. Laser printer. Laser printers are the fastest printers. They are also the most expensive. Most books, pamphlets, flyers, etc. are printed using laser printers. Test yourself. Name the printer which you will prefer to use to print your project, laser printer, and name the printer which you will use if the quality of printing does not matter, inkjet printer. Speakers. Speakers are used to listen to sounds produced from a computer. Speakers can be of different shapes and sizes. External speakers are those which are outside the main computer system. Internal speakers are often fixed inside the computer's monitor. Headphones. Headphones give audio output from the computer. They are similar to speakers, except they are worn on the ears, so only one person can hear the output at a time. Now let's talk about computer software. Computer software is a set of computer programs that enables the hardware or different computer parts to perform a particular function in a desired manner. In other words, it is a set of commands or instructions given to a computer. The hardware alone cannot perform functions like calculations and comparisons. It requires the software to carry out these functions. Web browsers, games, Paint, Logo, Windows 7, WordPad, Notepad, etc. are some examples of software. The software is classified into the following categories: system software and application software. The fact is, the term software was first used by John Tukey in 1957. Now, let's learn what is system software. System software are designed for integrating computer hardware and application programs. The main functions of the system software are integrating hardware with software, enabling computers to provide different functions, providing platform for software to run. Examples of system software are operating systems like Windows, DOS, and Linux. Application software. This software allows to accomplish one or more specific non-computer related tasks. Examples include educational software, medical software, and computer games. Notepad, Paint, Calculator are some examples of application software. This list is never-ending as new application softwares make way into the market every day. For example, Java, C++, and Logo. So, system software is for the computers, whereas application software are useful for the users or programmers. Recall time. A computer works on an input, process, output cycle. The physical parts of a computer that can be touched from computer hardware. Input devices are the devices that we use to enter data and instructions into a computer. The work done by a computer on the input is called processing. The devices used for getting the output are called output devices. Computer software is a set of computer programs that enable the hardware of different computer parts to perform a particular function in a desired manner. Tick the correct option. Which is the correct order? The answer is B. Input, process, output. Number 2. Processing in a computer takes place in the CPU. There are not computer hardware. Computer programs are not computer hardware. Number 4. This is not a component of the CPU. C. Army unit is not the component of the CPU. These are examples of application programs. Actually, this question has these two answers. And fill in the blanks using the words given in the clue box. Number 1. Input is given in the form of letters, numbers, or symbols. CPU is also called the brain of the computer. Keyboard and mouse are commonly used input devices. Scanner is used to input images, text, drawings, etc. into a computer. All the data and information that need to be processed are stored in the memory unit or MU. Now, true and false. Number 1. Output in a computer is always in the form of word. False. The control unit controls the working of all the parts of a computer. True. The information displayed on the screen is called hard copy. False. QBasic is a programming software. True. LED stands for light emitting devices. False. Classify the various parts of a computer shown below under the input and output devices. Input devices are mouse, keyboard, light pen, joystick, and output are printer, monitor, and speaker.